Hello, everyone. This is William Randolph, and welcome back to Government Contracting Edge. It's my pleasure to be with you. I want to take a few moments just to talk about an experience that I had this weekend, and I think it'll be relevant to many, if not all, in the government contracting space. So this weekend, I was preparing for our first National Contract Management Association's government contracting course, 4-day course that I have the honor of being a facilitator for. And I was preparing for that. This is our first post-RFO, Revolutionary Fire Overhaul course for this course. First instance post-RFO for this course. And it hit me how revolutionary this really is. From a standpoint of, I've been looking at the changes and kind of the themes that have been happening that are embedded in the Revolutionary Fire Overhaul, and the post-Fire Overhaul deviations have been adopted by many agencies and departments. And I've been looking at it in piece parts. And in piece parts, it's like, oh, little tweak here, sizable tweak here, medium-sized tweak here, a couple of changes here. But when you look at it in total, because that's what I had to do over the weekend, right? We finally got all the all the content prepared. And when you look at it in total, it is a monumental shift. Okay. Now, some of you that may not have been in the government contracting space for a long time might think this like, this is just, the 2025, 2026 version of, government contracting changes. But let me share something with you. I first heard about the Federal Acquisition Regulation in 1994. Okay, 1994. And since 1994 to 2026, there hasn't been any monumental, huge muscle movements. It's probably, I've heard the conversation. It's been 35, 40 years since there's been some major muscle movements. We've had, reinvention of government, initiatives that happened. We've had some threshold moves, but there hasn't been monumental shifts. And why that's important is, at least for me, since 1994, I've been able to build my FAR understanding on top of my previous FAR understanding. And you had the opportunity to grow in the experience of understanding and maneuvering in the FAR. And that the more time you have with it, the more you realize that it's not a cookbook, it's not a recipe book, it's actually a playbook. Okay. But over time, because it hasn't moved and shifted significantly, the understanding and the experiences you get to continue to build on your understandings. With this Revolutionary Fire Overhaul, the understandings, the old understandings, many of them have been wiped out, okay? Or at least they've been moved around so that everyone has to go back to the basics. And that's the point I want to get across, is that if you think this is just this is just this year's version of change, this is not this year's version of change. This is this 3 decades version of change. So be mindful of that as you maneuver. And what I think for contracting officers is the game has changed. The game has changed. Your skill, your acumen, and your risk tolerance will be brought to the forefront. Everything about the Revolutionary Fire Overhaul is to accelerate speed. Efficiency. Okay. When you see it in piece parts, it's, tweak here, change here. When you see it together, it says go fast. Okay. Accelerate. And there's lots of things that's happening in there, even in the source selection environments, the procurement environments, part 8, part 12, part 13, part 15, major changes for speed. Okay, if you've been around it long enough, you're like, this is going to speed the process up. This is going to speed the process up. This is definitely going to speed the process up. So I want you to think about it when you're thinking about the changes and you're digesting them, as many of you may not have been forced to digest them the way I have over the last couple of weeks, culminating in this weekend. But as you're thinking about it, contracting officers, the game has changed. Cores, from a programmatics perspective, writing requirements, part 11, games change. Market research, even shorter. Part 10 was small in the beginning. It's even smaller now. Games change. There are other areas in the FAR in terms of acquisition planning. Part 7, games change. Okay, there's lots of movements and shifts in the acquisition environment, and I encourage you all to think about that. On the industry side, game has changed. The game is moved to speed. Commercial solutions trump. Okay, no pun intended. Commercial solutions will carry the day. I'm even hearing the language talking about commercial first doctrine. Okay, that there's a doctrine that says you're going to explore all the commercial options before you even think about doing long form contracting, FAR Part 15 negotiated contracting. You explore everything else. Okay, and the sections of the FAR that allow for that, the buying 8, 12, 13, 15, they have been fine-tuned. The acquisition folks, the contracting folks, done a very good job of aligning them for speed. So industry, when you're on the delivery side or you're in the proposal side, responding side, just know that everything in the Federal Acquisition Regulation is now aligned for speed. Consolidation, speed. Commercialization, speed. Okay, the tailoring of the buying channel, speed, all of it. In the end, the goal is speed. We won't have the luxury anymore. I remember the seasons when I was in government. It's like, contracting takes the time it takes. That answer is dead. Okay, that answer is dead. People are going to be looking for speed. And here's a belief I have. There are going to be folks that are going to be auditing the decisions that have been made, the buying decisions, the buying strategies. I don't believe that the effort and energy that has been put into the revolutionary FAR overhaul to move it from compliance focus to speed focus, they're just going to do that effort, and no one's going to be checking. Okay, I believe somebody's going to be checking. What are agencies? What have you been doing? Now you've got all these rules and processes, best practices. Stripped down FAR with the support buying guides. Okay, the information that is best practices that isn't statutory or regulatory is in the guides. That's not going to slow you down. It might be like, I encourage you to go take a look at that, but do what the FAR says. That activity, I don't think all of that activity is going to happen, and folks are going to come back and say, just do what you want to do. Okay. And they're not going to check that the commercial goods and services numbers aren't going up, that the consolidation act, the OneGov consolidation activity towards GSA isn't going up. Okay, so colleagues, wherever you live in this environment, okay, this is like a extinction level event from the old way. Okay, this is a meteor hitting the government contracting planet. Okay, and something else is coming out of it. So this isn't an alarmist video. This is a get ready, be prepared video. The world has changed. Think speed. Everything is now focused on speed. So prepare yourselves, digest it. Don't bury your head in the sand. Engage with it, understand it, have an appreciation for it, and do all the things necessary to survive in the new world. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Please stay on the channel. Keep an eye out for future videos. Like, share, comment, and I welcome the opportunity to hang out with you again for another topic on the government contracting edge. All the best. Be well.